Hey everyone! Hello, hello. Happy greetings to you wherever you are. Good evening from myself, Jen at Personal Power Wellness. And tonight we are in Dubai, back in the Dubai kitchen, and I am preparing the celery juice for tomorrow. So when you make any preparations for the next day, if you're preparing food, if you're preparing your meals for the week, if you are preparing for your day ahead by writing what you would like your day to be like, or for a meeting, for instance, if you prepare for the visit of someone or the arrival of someone, or you're preparing to leave, whatever it is that you're anticipating in the future, we need to prepare for it in some fashion. Whether it's mental preparation only, or if it's combined with the intention and the mental preparation, and then an action taken in order to advance yourself on that path. And the reason we prepare, that we set things up physically, is so that we begin to move the energy and set the energy in motion. So that's what I've been doing. I washed all the celery. As you may know, I make a green juice almost every day, and if it's not a veggie juice, specifically celery juice, or a combination of celery and cucumber, or celery and any other green vegetable I have available in the fridge or in my kitchen, then I will make a fruit juice, because of course they're delicious, but they're not what I do primarily. And if you want to know what my favorite fruit juice is, it would have to be cantaloupe melon juice, and it can be also any melon, but preference goes to cantaloupe, which is also called rock melon, and honeydew melon. So tonight we are focusing on celery, because I had celery already in the fridge from before my vacation, and it's there, so I should definitely use it, consume it in my juices. And that's what I'm going to do right now in terms of preparing it, so that we can all just keep in mind and embrace the idea of preparing ahead of time for whatever it is that you would like to succeed at. So this little tripod is a little bit iffy, but here we are. So I already washed the celery and I cut it up, and now the next step is just to put it in the machine. So I don't know what kind of a juicer you are working with, but this juicer is the Cubings juicer, and that's K-U-V for victory, I-N-G-S, and that's it. So I already washed it, and so I popped it into the machine, and there we go. So I'm just gonna make the juice and talk along, and I hope you can hear me, because I just wanted to make sure that if you're someone who is pursuing a health-oriented approach to life, or you're undertaking some kind of a health regime, or just trying to keep up your healthy habits, you know, that's a big project, because at the end of the day, there's no one else who can force you or do it for you. Whatever it is you want, whether it's to go to the gym, or go for a daily walk, or even something as simple as having more veggies in your day, which, you know, that could be a big hurdle for many people, because they're not used to it, and vegetables are not necessarily the preference of everyone. And if you're not used to eating vegetables, then when you want to begin introducing them, you would ideally make them in a delicious fashion, so that way you would be more keen to actually consume your veggies over another type of food that maybe is not exactly your preference as your item to consume. And when I say preference, of course it's probably more delicious, and in reality you would like to have that food, like say like a bar of chocolate, or a bag of salty processed potato chips, or a bag of Doritos, or a pizza, or a cheeseburger. Of course, those are more satisfying in a way because they're tastier, they have a lot of fat, they have more salt, they may also have sugar, because sugar, salt, and fat are really the powerful trio that the food industry and food providers and the restaurant business, those are the three ingredients: sugar, salt, and fat. Those are the pillars of the processed food industry, and they are in combination and in varying concentrations. That's what makes junk food so delicious and appealing and appetizing. And the problem is, I mean, it may not be a problem for you, but people can develop illness. They can develop an addiction almost. And it's not technically termed an addiction, but it's almost like you can't get yourself off of it. And you get hooked on these foods. And it can become a tricky cycle because you're so used to those foods, which we label junk foods, and that includes pizza, cheeseburgers, pastries, cookies, cakes. I mean, I'm not against those foods by any means. However, they can become sort of habit forming in the sense that they are so highly palatable, they are so artificial, that we begin to prefer those foods over real, genuine, whole, natural foods. And our main consumption should be in the form of real, whole, natural foods. And it doesn't mean they have to be raw, because you can actually have a lot of delicious food that is cooked, and it's just a matter of how it's prepared. So that's really the key, is how things are prepared, how food is prepared when you're cooking at home. And if you're buying something from a restaurant, it can be a little bit trickier because they are more keen to make it higher in fat and sugar and salt so that it is delicious and sellable, so that people will consume it, buy it, and they can maintain and sustain and confirm their business. So just bear that in mind when you realize, like, hey, I love going to the Cheesecake Factory or even Burger King. It doesn't have to be a luxury place. And actually, sometimes we develop this sort of dependency and desire and affection for these very, quote unquote cheap consumer brands, like a McDonald's or like a Kentucky Fried Chicken or a Chow King, for instance. So just know that different chemicals and substances in food can be stimulating. Like, for instance, chocolate is a type of food that contains caffeine in varying quantities. The darker the chocolate, the more caffeine it will contain. So maybe if you suffer from sleep issues, you will want to cut out or limit your chocolate consumption at night, which ironically is the time of the day when you may be more apt to have that chocolate, maybe because it's habit, maybe because you have this routine of nighttime nibbling or munching, or you need that sweet hit. And I've done it too from time to time. If I don't have chocolate, then I may have something else, but something that's more of a, my dinner is generally, it always has a fruit and it has vegetables. And then any kind of treat or junk food would be in the form of maybe chips, like popcorners that are not fried but they're air popped. It could be a type of cracker that is a little bit more on the healthy side, less chemically laden, and that's what I do in order to balance out a focus on healthy foods so that it doesn't become too obsessive or restrictive. Oh. Because that's exactly what happens when you get too restrictive, is that things fall down and they fall apart. So that's what I tend to do. Okay, so just remember that it's not easy to stay true and to stick to your health regime in this modern food society. You know, it's a combination of things. It's a combination of the availability of fast foods, of these labeled junk foods. It's cheap, so you can buy it easily at a low price, anytime, anywhere. A lot of these food chains now are available 24 hours, and they do home delivery to make it even easier for us to buy their products. And I mean, it's nice to see it as a service, but at the same time, we may be doing ourselves a disservice if you in particular may have a health issue or struggling with weight or with hypertension or blood pressure, heart disease, high cholesterol, or diabetes. You know, these are all conditions that are 100% affected and impacted directly by the food that we eat, by the diet. So, you know, we are creatures of convenience and ease, and we seek pleasure with minimal pain. And food is a great source of pleasure for us. And so we use food as a sort of medicine, as a soothing medication to make ourselves feel good. And it's not that we can necessarily escape that dynamic, because sometimes we are subject to behaviors that we don't even realize. But it's about making it easier for you to do the right, well, what's right for you things. What's good for you things, and only you know that. There's no one who can tell you this is right for you or this is good for you. No one has that say in your life or over your body, because no one is living in your skin, and no one has your destiny, and no one is able to maybe have access to whatever you have access to. So remember that only you can make the decisions and do the actions, take the actions, do the necessary things in order to further yourself on the journey of what you want to reap and sow and achieve. So, I mean, clearly it's a deeper topic than just superficially saying, you know, it's up to you, but it is up to you, and it's up to us as well to become educated in what we care about. And research and education is really the heart of you finding answers to what matters to you. And that education means self-education. So that's it, friends. I'm already cut up and I put in all the celery pieces. It's in there. Now sometimes what I do, such as in tonight, is that I will add a little bit of water to lubricate it, because sometimes when the celery, the solid celery, is so dry, which these were very thin, kind of straw-like celery sticks, I add a little bit of water to the juicing spout, and that way it sort of lubricates what's happening on the inside, and it can facilitate for an easier flow out of the juice. And that's it. Now, if you have a juicer, you may or may not know that your juicer has a reverse gear, which is very handy to use. So I just press the reverse gear when I see that it's sort of jamming. And right now that is perfectly fine, because as you'll see here, I don't know if you can really see that, but there's pulp on the inside. So I'm going to unlock this if possible. Let's try it out here. So, okay, bear with me, friends, as I position this tripod. All right, so that's the tripod going on, action, and all right, so that's, oh, there we go again, live in the kitchen. So that's what I've got right there, and I'm gonna unhook this 1 second. All right, and we're gonna flip it around. And so this is the pulp. And so the pulp here has been very dry, but this is actually more like shredded celery from inside the rotating mechanism. This is the dry pulp after the juice comes out, and this is the juice. And we've achieved here approximately more than 16 ounces. So it's more than enough, happily. And that's it. So I'm going to pop this in the fridge now. I'm gonna just allow the final liquid to come out. And then you would just take this whole part and I'll put it over here. That's it. All right. So I am going to put this now in the fridge as it's been finished. And that's pretty much it. You know, I decided to make this video today, even though it is really, you know, live time on the fly, but that's the celery juice for tomorrow. And I now know that it's totally ready for me, and I will go to sleep, and at least I know that tomorrow I have the juice. I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but for me, it makes a difference because I've gotten so accustomed to making my juice, and it just feels like something really beneficial and healthy, and it's the kind of thing that I want to keep going. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to enjoy my celery juice tomorrow, and whatever it is that you are committed to, it may be something else, like going for a walk or going to sleep earlier, or getting better at your job, or just acing your exams, or just taking better care of your house, but you know you need to take some actions for that, and that you need to prepare. Maybe you need to email someone or reach out to someone. And you know, it's we can take small steps. We can take one step at a time, one day at a time. So today I made the juice for tomorrow. It's there, it's done, it's ready. And maybe that's something you can take away too. Even if it's as simple as, you know, you're busy in the morning, you wake up really early and you don't have time to make a fresh juice. And many of us are in that same boat. So what about if you do it the night before? And it might work better for you to do it that way, whatever it is. Maybe your smoothie, maybe you're meal prepping, maybe you're, I don't know, maybe it's your overnight oats. Some people love to make their overnight oats, and they just leave the oatmeal to soak for the next day, and they have their delicious combination of oats with whatever else you add ready for you to enjoy and consume the following morning. And that way you can just facilitate more ease and calmness and serenity the following day, which sometimes can be stressful if you have to deal with multiple demands, like going to work, getting ready for work. Maybe you have to prepare your kids for the bus, for school, or make breakfast for your family. Whatever it is, we've all got something. And so let's just learn to adapt and work with that and take it from there. Okay, so learn to adapt and be flexible, and just try to think on the most peaceful side of things, okay? Because maybe it's not as bad as you think it is. It may be better than you realize. And that's it for now. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great and beautiful night or day and week ahead. And I wish you all the best. So for now, take care and goodbye from Jennifer at Personal Power Wellness. And remember, you can do it. Don't think about it too much. Don't overthink it. If you want to do it, just do it. And it will be fine. And you'll do it. It'll be done. Take care and all the best. You can do it. And don't overthink things. Bye.